welcome back to a new episode of the Knit State of Mind podcast. Today is Saturday, January, is it the 16th?
Yes.
January 16th, getting used to saying 2021, day after MLK's birthday. A lot of things, the new year, a lot of things going on. So thank you for joining us in the new year. This is episode 22. 22. Wonderful. So I'm Wanda. You can find me on Ravelry as wattywat and on Instagram as Best in Class.
And I'm Heather. I'm on Ravelry as heathertee and on Instagram as heathertee3. And we're also on Instagram as Knit State of Mind. And we have a Ravelry group, which we sometimes forget to mention, and I've been forgetting to link it too. So I will link that today in the show notes. Please join our group if you want to chat.
Wonderful. So today we have a few projects to share with you. Heather and I have been chatting some, and our knitting mojo has been up and down, and I think that it's caused me to kind of reflect some on what Knit State of Mind, like what it means to me. And I think it's kind of like knit state of mind, knit state of emotions, knit state of body, knit state of heart. And I've just been observing and noticing with the craziness going on in the world, in my personal life, those moments where I don't feel like knitting or crafting and what's going on in my body or my heart or emotionally, the times when I do feel like crafting and the types of projects that I choose to pick up. I have a cable project right now. I have some color work. And then the plain stockinette project. So the times when I maybe just kind of want to zone out with something more complicated and I can't watch or listen to anything, or the easier projects where I can watch things and want to kind of space out actually. So just kind of been noticing those waves and the times when it's like I can't even touch my knitting. There's no motivation there. So it's just interesting noticing the various purposes that our crafting and our making can serve for us in our lives. The moments of joy, the moments of grief, anger, etc. But
yeah, I've been noticing that too. And I've also been thinking about when I've been picking up knitting versus cross stitching too. So there have been most of the knitting projects I'm working on right now are pretty simple. So I've noticed that I've been working, I generally don't like to do cross stitch projects that have like a ton of colors, but I've been working on a couple of those more lately for the reason that you were saying, which is like, just not, you have to concentrate so hard on that project that you can't pay attention to anything else.
yeah.
And then there's been days when I've been like super tired and all I want to do is just zone out. And that's when I've been getting work done on like my stockinette knitting projects. So
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. Feel free to share with us the states of mind or body, heart you've been going through with your knitting and crafting and making. So it'll be interesting to see, I think about the episodes from last year and how what we're working on might reflect last year's journey. And so it'll be interesting to see what this year's making and crafting and fiber journey entails and how it unfolds. So yeah, so we have some projects. We have our giveaways from 2020, and we'll talk a little bit about plans for 2021 today. So Heather, are you wearing an FO?
I am wearing an FO. Well, I'm kind of wearing two FOs. So first of all, I'll point out, I did share this as an FO last time, but this is my Audrey in Unst cardigan, my second version by Gudrun Johnston that I made out of Queensland Collection United, but I wasn't wearing it last time because I was wearing my Christmas sweater. So just wanted to show that it does fit.
Yay.
It's on. Yeah, so I'm happy with it. But this is my Yucca Blossom Hat, which is a pattern by Jennifer Berg, who's a native knitter on Instagram and I think her design company. And this was in Making Magazine issue 9, simple. So yeah, I'm very happy with it. I knitted out of just some leftover. This has been in my stash forever. I originally was making mittens out of it and the mittens just didn't work out. So I just had to was like frogging it as I was knitting the hat. So yeah, I'm super happy with it. It's just a repeating pattern and a pom-pom. So can't go wrong with that.
Nope. It's
Yeah.
awesome. So you already know I love the colors and it's such a great pattern. I think
Yeah.
Johannesburg has wonderful patterns.
Yeah. She has a lot of, oh, sorry, go ahead.
And no, you go for it.
I was just going to say, she has a couple other hat patterns that she self-published that are available on Ravelry. And I didn't look to see if the one for making is available individually, but if it's not now, it probably will be soon once that, you know, the rights revert to the designer or whatever. So
and
anyway.
There's the one I shared, I don't know how many podcasts ago. Oh, I don't know if I ever did I ever show it? The chicest.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's cool is she'll often have the hat pattern and the cowl pattern using similar designs. So yeah. If you're not familiar with her patterns, definitely check them out. Love them.
Yeah, this one would be super easy to make into a cowl pattern because you could just repeat the chart more times. If you wanted to. I mean, it's not written as a cowl pattern currently, but you could, if you wanted to use
that out for sure. Yeah. So one of her cowl patterns is in the running for the cowl that, remember I'm saying I want to make a cowl.
Yeah.
Cool. So I have a hat. Well, I have a finished hat that I mentioned on the last podcast.
Oh, you finished it.
This is, I'll show you the front. I'll show you the back. Well, it doesn't matter which is front or back. But this is the waving hat by Stephen West, and I made it for my partner, but we've both been wearing it just as much. I love this hat. I might need to make myself one as well. But I don't have it on right now because my hair is pretty big. Love this hat. I said I was going to look it up before the podcast, but I think it's Blue Sky Fibers. And I use leftovers. The black is leftovers from Mark's hat. So this is surprisingly worsted weight. It's designed, and here I have the flaps folded up. So that's how we wear it, with the flaps folded up, the hat tilted a little bit to the side, adding a little flair to it.
Johnston.
So yeah, what was I going to say about this? Oh, it's designed for one size. So that was something I was a little bit concerned about because he says worsted or Aran weight, and this is worsted weight. And I didn't want the hat to fit too snug, but it actually fits pretty perfectly. So I'll post pictures when I get a chance on Instagram and on the Ravelry page of one of us wearing it or both of us wearing it. But really nice hat, really nice design. It's a bunch of, I think we spoke about short rows last episode. So it's an adventure in short rows. It uses German short rows, which are a ton of fun. It's knit flat, and then he has a really cool construction for pulling it together so that it's a hat.
It's kind of like seamless. You can't really tell where it's all connected.
Exactly. You can. And then the bind off is oh god, why am I blanking? I-cord.
I-cord. Okay.
I-cord bind off. So that's another really nice, cool effect. Something that I was chatting with Heather about actually after last episode, I had to rip it out and start over because he has directions for knitting up to 3 stitches and then starting your short row. But you know, I don't know if different people, different designers interpret that different ways, but for me, that meant knitting up to 2 stitches. And I looked at some of the comments, and that's what some folks figured out as well. So, yeah, an adventure in German short rows. Good time.
Nice. We had a comment after, I think it was the last episode, from a viewer who was saying how they had just learned German short rows also and preferred them so much more. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, speaking of short rows, I have some short rows to talk about on one of my WIPs. Do you have any more FOs though?
I sure don't.
Okay. So I, right after our last episode, I got going really excitedly on my pin tuck t-shirt, and then I like lost interest again. So the reason I lost interest is that I'm now on this part of the front where I'm knitting this like little teeny tiny,
Oh,
it's like the part that goes right here, and it's tedious, so I didn't want to do it, so I stopped. But before that, it might even have been that same day because we had been talking about short rows. So I don't really ever read a whole pattern before I do something, because why would I do that? Because that would be smart. So I don't do that. But I had split for, I'm at the point where I had knit the whole body and I split to do the back and the front. So I started working on the back, and right away there was all these short rows. And I was like, why are there short rows here? Like what? Because in the front, you can tell from the picture there's short rows because you kind of like you pick up for the bib in the front. I should have pulled up a picture of it, but I didn't. It's got a little like pin tuck bib, and you pick that up at the end. So I understood why there would be short rows in the front, but I couldn't figure out why they were in the back. But I was like, okay, I'm just going to follow the directions. And I was using my Japanese short rows, which are my favorite.
nice.
But I realized that, and this pattern is pretty old. This pattern is from like 2010 or something. But I had never seen this before, that the short rows made the sleeve shaping. So basically, this is where the front and the back connect. And you can see this here, which I've usually always seen as like stair-step bind off.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it's shaped by short rows.
Wow.
So you do short rows to like make each row a little bit shorter, and then you just bind off. I'm sorry, it's not showing. You just bind off in one straight line.
Huh.
Which means you don't get that, what I think is a not very beautiful stair stepping on your bind off for the sleeve. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that is just genius. I don't know why every pattern that has, where the sleeve is in pieces or whatever, why they don't all use it, because it just looks so much better.
It seems brilliant, and it looks good. It looks
amazing.
Yeah.
And I've never seen that before. So this pattern, it's a free pattern. So this pattern is the Pin Tuck t-shirt by Land No. And I highly recommend downloading it because it's free. But from what I can tell, she hasn't had any patterns out for a long time. So I think she must not be anymore. But if you want to see how it works, I recommend downloading it, because I will be going back to this pattern next time I knit something flat that has sleeve shaping.
Yep.
And trying to recreate this because I just think it looks so much better.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got super excited about that. And then I did it on the back, finished the back, did the front, and then I got to this little itty bitty skinny part that I don't enjoy doing. So I have to finish that and then also do that on the other side, like over here. I have to do the same thing over here, and then I get to pick up the middle part, and then it'll be done. But
okay.
Yeah, that's one thing that I was working on for a bit.
That's that if we were doing 2021 spring summer ready.
Yeah.
That's it right there.
It'll definitely be, I'll probably pick it up again sometime in the next couple of weeks. I just have to get through that little tedious part. What I ended up doing actually was I cast this hat on New Year's Eve, and then I just like only knit on this for the next couple of days, and then I didn't want to go back to that part I didn't like.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will give an update on my Favo sweater. So when I was on with knitting, when I had that burst, that mojo, this is what I worked on. Like, it was so much fun. So the Favo sweater, for those who haven't been watching, is a pattern by Fiber Tales. Her name is Larka. And it's knit in pieces. So front, back, and then the sleeve. So I finished the back already, and then I ended up casting on the front, and it flew. It just flew.
Oh my gosh, it did fly.
It's such an awkward place right now. Not podcast ready to show this off, but
Does the cable go down the center of the front?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So maybe I'll hold it up too.
Yeah. That's not good for the color, but it's good for the detail of the stitches.
Wait, hold on. It's working this out. It's also opposite on Zoom. Okay.
So it's got the honeycomb brioche, and then it has like 2 different cables or 3 different cables.
I think you can see that now, right?
Yeah.
So the front is done. I'm binding off, well, almost done. I'm binding off the right shoulder. And then I have to do the left shoulder and bind that off. And then this baby is done. But a little bit about it. So this is honeycomb brioche on the sides. And then down the center, there's just this main cable. And I did use a cable needle. And then you have, I don't know what these are called, and I'm not going to give away the design, but you have that piece.
Mm-hmm. Oh, those aren't cables. They're like little puffs or something.
Yeah, so they're pulled through strands. Mm-hmm. The strands are pulled through and then knit together. And then we have bobbles, people.
Nice.
Mini bobbles. I don't know if you all can see that.
Yes.
And then this is another little.
That's the braid, right? The same as on the back?
No, it's not the braid.
Oh, not the braid.
This is a little swirly thing. I can't see, but I'm trying to hold it so you can.
I mean, it's a little hard to see it, but I can tell.
I haven't done the braid on here yet. So if you remember from the back, you have a row of stockinette.
Oh, okay.
And that's going to become the braid once I, get there. Mm-hmm. So, and I'll just show you as a refresher the back with the braid.
Oh, so the braid is between the brioche and then the center.
The center, exactly.
I think that would be the back that you're showing us.
Say that again.
The back is just it's stockinette, right? I think you were showing us the inside of the back, I think, but it doesn't really matter.
Say that again.
No, the outside. Sorry.
Yeah. So the back is
reverse.
This is the side. It's reverse stockinette in the center.
Yeah.
And then there's the braid. So it's worsted weight yarn held with mohair and size 8 needles. I'm using my Chiago interchangeables here. And it flew. I mean, whenever I sit down to do this, it just flies. And it's interesting because when I first started it, when you look at a chart, you're kind of like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
And it took me a while to interpret it and get going. And I was like, am I going to pull this off? And then once I got it. And it really helps, I've heard other people talk about this, but with putting the stitch markers, helps you just fly and keep in pattern that way. So I've decided, who knows what happens when I sit down to do it, but I've decided that I want to do the sleeves 2 at a time.
Okay.
Because with is it increases or because it's one
decreases probably, either,
whatever, it'll be easy to make sure both sleeves are done evenly, keep track of things. And it's honeycomb brioche in the round, but from what I haven't really looked at she includes an instructional video. I haven't looked at it yet, but the honeycomb brioche ended up being pretty intuitive. And I think the only difference when you're doing it in the round is that you're purling 2 stitches together rather than knitting them together, which you do when it's flat. So I don't think it'll be too difficult to do these 2 at a time. So we'll see.
Yeah.
How that works out. I'll report back next episode.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited it's coming together. And the sleeves it's a drop shoulder, right? So the sleeves are not as long as they would be if it was set in sleeve or a raglan.
Exactly. So, I want to finish it up so that I have time to wear it this winter season before it's over. She suggests blocking the front and back first. So probably, sometime this weekend I'll do that and then get the sleeves going.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Well, yeah, I've been checking the weather actually because it's been kind of warm here this week. I mean, you know, and I've been like, no, but it looks like it's going to get cold again sometime towards the end of next week and through a lot of February. So
it's going to get cold and it's going to be raining towards the end of next week. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
my semester starts back next week. And so we're going to just drive out to the beach the day before my semester officially starts while the weather is still nice.
Yeah, well, it's still sunny out. Yeah. Well, I've been working on, actually, I have something with Bobbles and I have something with mohair. I'll show the Bobbles first. So I was watching Best Day Ever the other evening, and they were talking about they're doing the year of hats that was put out last year by Cloudborn Woolens. They put out like a free hat pattern every month. And at the time I like favorited them all and put them in my queue, but I never made one. So when I heard them talking about it, I was like, maybe I want to make those this year. So I got downloaded the January hat pattern. But I'm really trying to make stuff from stash, and I think I picked the wrong yarn, so I might rip this out. Because the January hat has it's got cables and bobbles on it. But I picked this yarn that I've had in my stash forever. I made a sweater out of it many years ago. This is Rowan Soft Lux, which is wool and Angora, but it's kind of like, I don't know if you can see that, bumpy. So it's not smooth yarn. So I feel like the bobbles aren't really showing up very well. It's like blowing up. I mean, you can kind of see them.
I see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's also like really fiddly to knit, not just because of the bobbles, but the cables have 5 stitches and some go in front and some go in back. And so I do not like knitting with a cable needle, but you really need one for this. So it's very slow going. So I think I'm going to knit maybe like 4 or 5 more rows and see if I think the bobbles are showing up enough. And if they're not, I'm going to try a different yarn. But if they do show up, I'm going to keep going, because I have another hat made out of this yarn that I really love and I wear it all the time, but it's very stretched out. Just I think because of the Angora. So I need another hat in this yarn, and if this isn't the right pattern for it, then maybe I'll knit one of the other year of hats out of it. But so yeah.
So you chose just, you're not doing the one for January, like following along.
This is the January one.
That is the January one. Oh, okay.
Hard to tell because the pattern, if you've seen it, has like this big like sort of diamond pattern with bobbles in it. And I just haven't gotten far enough for the diamond pattern to really show up.
Got it.
Yeah. And if I do continue with this yarn, I'm going to make the pom-pom out of this, which is the same yarn, different color.
Yeah. You're on your pom-pom flow right now.
I love pom-poms that are made out of yarn. I've actually never purchased or used one of the like faux fur ones, but I just love the yarn ones. So
did you make that one?
This one, yeah.
Yeah, because I know that you make them. Cool. Awesome.
Do you have any other WIPs?
I have one more.
Let's see it.
Wait, what the heck? This is all tangled. So this will look familiar. I'm gonna hold it up and not say anything because Wanda likes suspense.
Yes, I'm like, what is it?
Okay.
Oh, it's a mitten.
Okay, this whole direction on Zoom, like which way do you? Okay, we see that.
Yeah.
There it is. It's focusing. So the Wee Mitten by Einar Birkenbayeva, who is Mama's Teddy Bear, I think on Ravelry and on IG. Heather and I have mentioned this before. When she first released the pattern, I fell in love with it. And I'm using the colors and yarn that she used originally. So you all remember I had other color options and I contemplated them then and then now. And then I was like, you know what? These colors are really calling me. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is I really want to wear my knits. And so I decided that this is going to be the most versatile color scheme for me. So it's the charcoal gray and oatmeal color Cloudborn yarns Highland Sport. Trying to think. So that's the front, and the back is just striped. So I've gotten
I love that design so much. I
is,
need to go back and
it's beautiful. And this will go by quickly too. I'm trying to remember the size. I think it's size 3 needles, and I'm using the Chowgo bamboo needles. I think it's size 3 needles. Anything else I want to say about that? It's enjoyable. It's great color work. It's a lovely design. I'm glad I waited to purchase it because I purchased it. She was having a fundraiser.
Oh, okay.
So it counted towards her fundraiser. And I purchased another pattern that counted towards the fundraiser, the Jilly Socks, which had caught my attention when they first came out in the 52 weeks of socks. And I was like, I don't know if I want to buy the whole book, although from what I've seen, there are a lot of great sock patterns. And so I was wondering if it would ever be released as an individual pattern. And it was. It's available on Ravelry. So I'm making those Jilly Socks soon as well.
Nice. Did you catch your floats on the parts that have the really long sections? Because that was the problem I had on mine and why I have to tear it out. So yours looks like it's pretty even.
So at first I didn't, and then I started catching them. Okay. She says you don't have to, but I started catching them.
Okay. I wonder if maybe that'll help mine come out more evenly if I catch the floats on longer sections.
Yeah. And I haven't put too much thought into it. It's like every 4 or 5, I've been catching the floats.
Yeah.
It's not super even, but I'm not tripping. It's okay.
But it doesn't, the two sides look the same width, where on mine, the one side was clearly like less wide than the other side. And they were the same. So, yeah.
Yep. So I'm excited about those. Again, something that I'm like, I need to finish them quickly so that at least I get to wear them once before it warms up here. But
yeah. Well, there's always next winter too, but I bet you can if you just work on them for a little bit, they'll get done pretty quick.
Yeah. They move quickly. The time I've spent moves really quickly. Yeah.
All right, well, I have 2 more things. I made a list of everybody that I want to knit socks for this year, and I'm starting. And I always do this. I always start with the people with the bigger feet because then I just get those out of the way. So this is a pair, and I have a lot of Felici, and some of it is colors that I think a lot of other people in my life would like, but I wouldn't necessarily. They're not my favorites. And so I thought, why am I letting this sit around when I know there's other people who would like these colors? So I started a pair of socks to go in the gift pile for 2021 holidays.
Yeah.
So this is Felici in the color Chickadee, and then Knit Prick Stroll Dove Heather for the heels. And we'll see. I might need it for the toes too, because I'm not sure. I just have to measure if I'm going to be able to get through the whole foot with just the Felici. I need something else. But those are coming along nice. And I feel like this is a really nice subdued color, but that little pop of the aqua kind of gives it some interest.
I like the combination, the color combination. Yeah.
So, but it's just like, these are, because it's a larger sock, it's 80 stitches because I'm knitting them on a size 0 needle. I find that Felici holds up a lot better knit at a tighter gauge. So I like to knit it, I think it's like around close to 9 stitches to the inch that I'm getting, or 8.5. And so it just means that I have to cast on more stitches, and then it's like a lot of around and around.
And you're doing 2 at a time.
I did the heel time and the heel pickup separately, and I just put it back on to start.
Yeah.
I definitely want them to both be the same size if they're a gift. So I don't want to take any chances with my gauge loosening or tightening.
True.
Yeah.
True.
And then my last thing is I cast on something new.
Ooh, is this the secret one?
This is the secret one. So I cast on this pattern, which the designer is Spanish, so I assumed it was like a Spanish word that I didn't know the title of the pattern, but I think it's actually an Irish name, which is pronounced Anya, because I did some Googling around to try to figure out what that word would be. And there is not a Spanish word that's spelled that way that I could find. So anyway, I think this pattern is pronounced Anya, and it's by Lucia Ruiz de Aguirre, and it was originally published in a knitting magazine from Spain, I think, called Cables. Anyway, I'm using Biche et Buches, Le Petit lambswool, and Le Petit silk mohair.
Oh my God. I love it. Hold it closer and in front of you.
The details, because it's a darker color, but you can still see.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the color. I love everything. I've been waiting for this one.
Yeah. So I'm happy with it. It's got the bobbles and then there's some lace. It's hard to see the but can you see that?
I can.
Yeah. Yeah, so overall, I'm very happy with how this is coming out. I have tried it on and it does fit. I didn't do a gauge swatch, but I measured my gauge on my no frills, which is also like fingering weight and mohair. And then I looked up the gauge on a DK weight project I knit this past year. By the time I did all that, I probably could have just knit a gauge swatch. But I didn't, partly because I was worried I was going to run out of yarn because I have like just the right amount of yarn. So I didn't want to risk that. And it's hard to tear mohair out of a gauge swatch. But anyway, yeah, so it fits really nicely. I do have to say that the pattern, I would not buy the pattern if you have never knit a yoked sweater before, because the directions are not super strong. But the chart is accurate. There are no errors on the chart, and the chart is really beautiful. So I think it's worth buying the pattern if you like how the yoke looks for the chart. But I would definitely recommend taking a look at another yoke sweater pattern if you're not familiar with it. And I was wondering if it was because the pattern had been translated from another language. So I did look at the Spanish version of the pattern too, because when you buy it, you get both. And it did look like there were a few errors that had happened with the formatting when they translated the pattern, but it also just didn't have like a ton of detail about so there's things like it says, sometimes it says there's two sizes of needles, and sometimes it says which to use and sometimes it doesn't. And you kind of have to know from knitting a previous sweater which one you should be using. So that's just an example. But I do think it's worth purchasing the pattern for the chart because the chart is really beautiful. So
yeah, I'm loving it. I can't say that enough times. Yeah. I really love it. The color is perfect too.
It's a little less green than I thought because the mohair is a little bluer and it kind of toned down the green of the main yarn, like you can see. But I think if you knit it also in a lighter, so you can see there that the wool is.
I have that mohair. Yeah.
And I think if you knit it in a lighter color, the pattern would show up even more. But again, to like, what am I going to wear? Like, I know I'll wear this color a lot.
Yep. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. So I'm really happy with it. I just have to finish the sleeves. So hopefully by next time we record, this will be done again. And I need to be able to wear it because it's going to be toasty because it's mohair and wool. So.
Yep. No doubt. Good stuff. Oh, that was a great surprise.
Yeah. So, and it's got lots of stockinette on the body and the sleeves. So that's been a good round and round and round.
Yep.
So I just wanted that. Yeah. Plans? Or do we want to do giveaways first and then plans?
Huh? You
want to do giveaways first and then plans, or talk about plans?
Well, we can talk a bit about plans. I don't know if I'm going to go into too much detail, but I'm finishing the Favo and the wee mittens. The easy projects I'm working on are those socks, the morning coffee socks by Crazy Sock Lady. And then I have here and every now and then picked up the 4 points blanket. And I'll probably talk on a future episode or post something on Instagram. I'm deciding between 3 sweaters to cast on next after I finish Favo. But seeing your Anya is making me lean towards one at the moment. So we'll see. And then I have 2 cows that I'm deciding between. And that's it for now. That's where I'm landing.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, and the Jilly Socks. When I finish the other socks, which I've decided I'm going to gift.
Okay.
Then I'll cast on the Jilly Socks for myself.
Yeah. I've been wanting to make, I can't really picture what the Jilly Socks look like, but I've been wanting to make socks that have like a pattern. So I've been knitting a lot of just plain socks lately. And I think there's a couple different sock patterns I'm thinking about that have more of like a cable or a texture pattern just to change it up a little bit.
The Jilly Socks are twisted stitches. And it's
of course they are.
It's a unique construction. I love the look of twisted stitches.
Yeah.
I think it's made with a heavier yarn. It might be sport weight.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're meant to be cozy, wear them around the house. I mean, I'll wear them out too, but
yeah.
Yeah. What about you? What are your plans?
I don't have too many plans for specific garments. Although when I was, after I made this hat, I was like looking through this magazine again. And there's 2 patterns from this that I do really want to make this year. So this is one of them.
Oh yeah.
Which is the Lighthouse Cardigan. And then and I have yarn that would work for both of these. And then the other one is, let's see if I can find it. I should have tabbed it. The other one is this cardigan, which is called the Plover Cardigan. So I have yarn that would work for both of those. So I'm kind of thinking about those. But I think part of the reason I kind of lost my mojo for a minute is because I was really trying to finish those other sweaters. Like I did work a little bit on Shifty, but I just wasn't enjoying it. And then I was like, got tired of my pin tuck t-shirt. So I think I'm just going to do whatever I feel like doing.
However the spirit moves you.
Yeah. Because then I did this hat and I did it really quickly because I was really enjoying it. And then once I cast on Anya, then I have been working on that pretty steadily. So I'm really trying to stash down, like for real this year. Like I said last time, I did a good job the first half of last year and then didn't anymore. So I'm really trying to just use what I have and only purchase yarn if I needed to finish a project that I have like already most of the stuff for, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe like once or twice, something special catches my eye that I don't have yarn for, but I'm going to try to really only buy something if I'm going to use it right away because, yeah, I just want to use what I have. So that's my plan, is to try to work through all the different stuff I have in my queue that I already have yarn for that I know I'm going to love, like both of those sweaters.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That resonates with me too. I like to be open, but and intentional and mindful thinking about what I have, because both of us, we buy yarn with projects in mind. So, I do have projects in mind for that yarn, and I want to knit those up, and I'm still excited about most of them. So yeah. Of course I'm not going to beat myself up if there's another pattern that comes out and I need new yarn for it. But one of the things I've learned is I don't know if I've fully learned it, but to sit on the pattern for a bit as well.
Right. Yeah.
You don't have to buy the yarn right away. So
right.
Yeah. Cool.
And I've heard that I have to start it right away or else it's just going to sit forever. Like I might eventually get back to it, but yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So And then also speaking of plans, we do have ideas for knit-alongs, make-alongs for 2021. I think we'll probably talk about those in more detail in the next episode. We're going to close out the 2020 make-alongs and do our giveaways for that. And then we'll have a fresh start next episode.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Let's do it. Let me just grab. Should I start?
Okay, yeah.
So we are doing a giveaway for Clear the Needles 2020 to say thank you to everyone for participating, inspiring us. Like I said last week, there's no way I would have gotten so many things off my needles if I hadn't been inspired by seeing everything that all of you had gotten off your needles. So I'm feeling really happy about my own progress there, and also just really excited about the amount of you that got stuff off your needles last year. So we used a random number generator to pick one winner from our Ravelry thread and one winner from Instagram. So the first prize is this black squirrel pink neon yarn. And the mango con chile stitch marker.
I think I have that on Favo right now.
Oh, do you? Yeah, there it is. And so this goes to April, who is Smile Hard on Instagram. So send us a message. April, we'll message you, but send us your address and full name and we'll send that to you. And then from our Ravelry thread, this is Serendipitous Wool Co. The Bayou base in the color Poseidon. This one, the color is called The Song Slaps. In the color Poseidon from Serendipitous Wool, and the Vic stitch marker. And this goes to Lynn, Steel Lady. So
well deserved.
Yeah, and if you guys read our comments or in the group, you know that Lynn is in there all the time commenting and cheering people on. So we're excited to send this out to you, Lynn. Send us a message with your address and we'll get this to you.
Yay! Okay, and so it's a similar sentiment with the winter ready make along and just the community and encouragement to be winter ready. It was similar for summer ready, etc. We had quite a few people participate and share multiple items they were making. So y'all really showed out, and it was inspiring to see the sweaters, the hats, the mittens, the scarves, the socks, lots of wonderful stuff. And so for the winter ready make along, we also use random number generator. But the prize for that is this. There we go. You can see that. Mm-hmm. It's Farmer's Daughter Fibers. It is the Moon Sisters base in the color Mr. Pocket. And along with that, we have the WISP collection. Lots of juicy patterns in here. And so this prize goes to B-Wing is her name on Ravelry, and it's Brittany. So Brittany, reach out to us. We'll message you as well. And Brittany shared a couple of patterns, but one of them was the Montrealer. So it was nice to hear the Montrealer complete and kept me going and motivated to finish my Montrealer. So congrats, Brittany, Lynn, and April.
Speaking of which, we need to see modeled photos of the Montrealer soon, or did you post some already?
Oh, it's on my Ravelry. I posted some on Ravelry. I will share those. Thanks for the reminder. We did go out and we did take those. Mark wore them. We did a gift exchange outside, and so we were outside for a few hours, so it was perfect to keep him warm. And so he's gotten some wear out of it. I'll post some photos. Yeah. It is on my Ravelry though, too.
Nice. Maybe I'll link it today so people can look at it there if they want to.
I just put those up. It came out perfectly. Like, I can't believe how perfectly it fits him.
Yay, that's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh wow. So is that it?
think that's it.
All right.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us, both to our returning viewers and to anybody who might be new if you're still watching at this point. But thanks for joining us as always, and we'll be back again in about 3 weeks.
All right.
Bye, everyone.